for pre-need funerals, burials, and cremation since 1975. Curtis and Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg. Celebration of life for Mrs. Beverly Page Norris, age 38, is today at 1 p.m. from Community Funeral Home Chapel in Sylacauga, with Elder Renee Woodruff officiating. Interment in the New Style Baptist Church Cemetery in Nicksburg. Community Funeral Home, Sylacauga, directing. Graveside service for Mrs. Maybelline Chapman Martin will be Saturday at 1 p.m. from Coosa Valley Baptist Church Cemetery in Vincent. Visitation is today at the funeral home from 1 to 7. Community Funeral Home, Sylacauga, directing. And funeral service for Boris Johnson will be Saturday at 2 p.m. from Community Funeral Home in Sylacauga, with burial in the Wilsonville Cemetery. Visitation today, 1 until 7 at the funeral home. Community Funeral Home, Sylacauga, directing. Richard Lee Waters, age 82, of Sylacauga, died Wednesday. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at dignitymemorial.com. Radley Smith Funeral Home, Sylacauga, directing. Celebration of life, remembering the life of Mrs. Faye Cross, age 26, of Talladega, will be Saturday at 1 p.m. from S.M. Goodson Funeral Home Chapel, with Pastor Prezell Lane officiating. Interment in the Bethel Baptist Church Cemetery. Public viewing is today, 1 until 6 at the funeral home, S.M. Goodson Funeral Home and Crematory, Talladega, directing. Homegoing celebration, remembering the life of Walter Lee Embry, age 59, is today at noon from Word Alive International Outreach, with Pastor Dan Maddox officiating. Interment after the service at Kelly Springs Memorial Gardens. Public viewing was held last night, S.M. Goodson Funeral Home and Crematory, Talladega, directing. Mr. James Thomas J. Wilson Jr., age 63, died May 5th. And funeral service will be held Saturday at Ursery Funeral Home in Pell City, with Pastor Randy Howell officiating. The family receiving friends Saturday, 9:30 till service time at the church. That's 11 a.m. Ursery Funeral Home, Talladega, directing, Ursery Funeral Home, Pell City, directing that service. Celebration of life for Sergeant Retired Bruce Johnson is 1 o'clock Monday at Terry's Mortuary Chapel, with Dr. Matthew Leonard officiating. Interment in the Antioch Baptist Church Cemetery. The service will be live streamed. Visitation for Mr. Johnson will be held 1 until 6 Sunday at the funeral home, Terry's Metropolitan Mortuary, directing. Graveside service for James Jim Braswell Jr., age 72, of Sylacauga, is today at 2 o'clock from Fayetteville Methodist Church, with the Reverend Michael Price officiating. Mr. Braswell died Monday at his residence, Radley Smith Funeral Home, directing. And Susan Johnson died at the age of 67 at her residence on Wednesday. Curtis and Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, announcing arrangements. Online condolences at curtisandson.fh.com. Curtis and Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, directing. And visitation for Francis Moore Vincent will be in Pell City at the Ursery Funeral Home Chapel there. That'll be at 2 o'clock. Visitation starts at 1. Ursery Funeral Home in Pell City in charge of the arrangements. This obituary report this morning brought to you by Curtis and Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg.